Welcome, everyone. We are back here at the Nerdthusiast Wrestling Show.
Or the NWS.
And we are doing the most stereotypical type of wrestling content known to man, but you love it. You can't live without it. Today, we are doing our top 5 favorite matches of the year. I'm very excited about this. Sean, how are you feeling for this?
Top 5, baby. Cannot wait.
All right. I think we're just going to start from number 5. So my number 5 is Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. This was the match where Wheeler essentially got jumped into the Blackpool Combat Club. Wheeler was a bloody mess. Really took it to Mox. There were some amazing moments, hitting him with the splash from the outside, kicking out of the paradigm shift, I think, like 3 times during that match. And then that moment after the match where they basically crown him Blackpool Combat Club. Honestly, just not a match I was expecting coming into 2022. Do you have any memories from this? Remember this one at all? Or?
I do actually remember it. You said not expecting coming out of 2022. I can definitely say I did not expect Wheeler Yuta to be added to a group with like Danielson, like Moxley, led by Regal. I like Yuta. I think he's phenomenal in-ring talent. Don't really want to see him hold a microphone. I also did not think that they would beat him to a bloody pulp as like a gang initiation. That was very cool. Definitely didn't expect it to show up on a top 5 list. Very surprising first pick. I like it though. That will take me into my first mention on the list. So number 5 for me was the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory, but the all-out match, not the one they won the titles.
Really good pick.
I absolutely like the match of the night for me was definitely that tag match. The crowd was not hotter for anything else. It was such a bummer that they didn't win it that night. Like, I'm happy that the Acclaimed eventually did get the titles, but that they were just so over. The crowd was so hot, and the match itself was put together really well.
Yeah.
I like when they won the titles, but I think I don't want to call it interference, but like the interjection with Billy Gunn getting involved took away a little bit from the Acclaim's win.
It's fair. It's fair.
And I just the title win felt forced because of how good this match was.
I would actually say one of the biggest arguments about a lot of wrestlers at AEW is they can't tell stories in the ring. And I think that match is an example because they did the perfect story of Bowens is always getting injured. And Swerve and Lee, the Dynamite before, were making references to it. Then you get to the match, Bowens limping. He's selling, I think, what was the shoulder as well, struggling. Like, it made for a great story. All right, so with that, I'll go into my number 4, and this one is going to be heavily affected by the fact that I was there in the crowd, but it's Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. There was a lot going into that match that made it very exciting for me. It was a dream match for Moxley. He had been chasing that match for 3 years. Tanahashi, if you're a New Japan fan, he is a legend. He's an icon. He's a once-in-a-100-year talent, as they like to say in New Japan. Moxley is usually super over in Chicago, and they were booing him that night in the crowd.
So I also watched this match, pretty sick of seeing Moxley, and I was very confused as why he was wrestling in Old Japanese Man. Me being me, I'm definitely not putting any Japanese stuff on a top 5 for the year, but that's because I've really seen very little of it. Yeah. Tanahashi, he was in a couple of things this year for AEW, right?
Yeah, so
I'm thinking of the right guy, right? He's missing.
Well, that was
some
his
strips of hair.
No, you're thinking of Minoru Suzuki.
Okay,
the crazy dude. He had the little trunks and had a towel on his head.
Okay, so then let's recap this. I have no memory of this match. I know that it happened. I watched Forbidden Door. It was totally lost on me because I don't know who Tanahashi is. So I think you're going to be... So my number 4 match of the year, I think this is going to surprise you that I'm even going to add his name to a list that I made, is going to be Adam Page and Bryan Danielson and the 60-minute Broadway that they did. It just... As much as of a fucking cowgirl that Adam Page is, anything Danielson really touches is gold for me because he's so goddamn good. If he's bad guy, he's good guy. But I believe at the time he was being fucking dickhead Bryan Danielson.
It's one of the best heel turns.
Favorite.
One of the best heel turns.
I know that you enjoyed the match.
Yeah, remember that this is one of your picks later on. But I can't disagree. It was a great match. I love draws in wrestling.
When done right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Obviously you have to do it right, but I think I think it's one of the best things about AEW is they brought back time limits to mainstream U.S. wrestling because they kept time limits in Japan.
That was one of my favorite things about AEW. Tom looked like he had a question a moment ago. So
I was gonna say, does he mean like draws as in like a tie or draws from LOD?
No, right, just so moving on.
I know you hate the Hangman character, but I've never seen you be upset with his in-ring. So do you like his in-ring work then?
I've never been genuinely put off by his in-ring work.
I think because for that match, while I agree everything Danielson touch makes better, I think that's the type of match where like both guys have to be on point to make it work.
Yeah, dude, trust me. Like there are far better. Like there are other matches that I like the characters better in that I think like
Yeah.
I'm a fan of like some stiffer work. I'm a fan of more technical. Well, I don't know if you can get more technical than fucking Danielson. But like I think Danielson and Kenny had a more technical match. Again,
my favorite
really
match of all time.
Playing to your fucking favorites today, apparently, and playing all the hits for Steve. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. I think Danielson, he's so married to being a technical wrestler. Like in his heart, he can't not do it. And here, Page was definitely a solid dance partner. I think I hate Adam Page's fucking face more than anything. It's just so, like, I want somebody to hit it with, like, a chair.
That's my second wrestling husband.
Or...
I hate his boots.
Dude, he looks like fucking...
Whoa.
They took
I didn't agree
Parton.
to have my wrestling husband crapped on the whole video. I'm just kidding.
He looks like he's trying to make, like, the least frightening cowboy ever.
Yeah, dude, he looks like a guy that's never seen a cowboy, and somebody was just like, well, they kind of look like this, and he's like, I could do that.
He's from... I think he would know a cowboy better than us.
Dude...
He's from Virginia.
This might be unpopular with viewers from Virginia, but I recently drove through Virginia and we stopped a couple of times. Those people are fucking mutants.
We're from New Jersey.
We're fucking awesome.
We're the furthest from cowboys.
No shit.
I don't know what a spur is.
If you go south, they think they're cowboys.
I understand.
I'm from South Jersey.
I'm just saying.
We don't have anything like that.
I'm trying to insult Adam Page.
Yeah, I am
without
not letting
saying horrible.
I am not letting
without
my
using bad
wrestling.
words.
I am not letting my wrestling husband be knocked out like this.
I'll say one positive thing about Page. His hair looks like it belongs in 1980s wrestling.
He's a beautiful man. He's a beautiful. I love Hangman. There's only like 3 wrestlers I like more than Hangman. I
just hate it. Yeah, his appearance fucking sucks. His in-ring, very solid. But his general, like, the character is fucking dumb.
I love the character.
And
I like how this started with him complimenting Adam Page, but it still turned to hating him.
It is fucked up because, like, I really am praising the man's wrestling work. But we got into, you asked me like what I don't like. So like his character as a cowboy is like putting a Marlboro Man on candy cigarettes. Like that's how much of a cowboy he is.
I think he's plenty of I don't see why he isn't a cowboy.
Baby soft.
I just think that's toxic masculinity.
It is. Dude, this show will be riddled with my toxic masculinity. All right.
I have so much respect that you just went, oh yeah.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. You know what this was before your generation dubbed it toxic masculinity? It was a personality disorder. I'm just overcompensating for my own shortcomings with abusive humor.
I just really like the way you just went, oh yes it is.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I'm not gonna deny that. I've had. Do you know what it's like to live 35 years of your life? No, because it's hilarious to me that you can't stop crying and laughing. Cry. He's fucking. God, you can make me laugh. But fuck, you're really breaking too hard, dude.
Oh my god, I thought I was gonna die for a second.
Like, do you want to know how deep the toxic goes? I watched a documentary, or a mockumentary on Netflix called Monster about Jeffrey Dahmer, and then immediately bought these glasses because I was like, that fucking cannibal has got some stylish eyewear. Alright, so I think put very simply, Adam Page, as far as in-ring work, acceptable. That brings us to your number, what are we, 3?
3.
Your number 3 on match of the year.
All right, so my number 3 match of the year, and it's a match I think I'm just going to expect that a lot of people have as their match of the year, number 1. It's MJF versus CM Punk dog collar match, Revolution. Not only is it an amazing match, it might be one of the greatest builds of all time in wrestling. Like, specifically the promo that comes to mind, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, will you be my Valentine? And then pulling out the dog collar.
Don't disagree. Love every second of it. It is actually number 1 on my list, so you'll get no complaints here. I do wonder how many people got the reference that you're talking about.
I like that you bring that up because it's always a point of contention with certain fans. There's going to be people who don't get it. But I think it's the equivalent of what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe super big, which was nobody knew who fucking Thanos was in 2012. I view stuff like the reference that you got with the Greg the Valentine reference and everything like that for that match, where you know it, maybe the larger audience doesn't know it, but you can get guys like me who don't know old school wrestling, be like, hey, Sean, what was that reference with CM Punk did? You get excited all telling me, and now I'm excited because it's like, oh shit, so this is like larger scale than I thought. Like, I think everything about that match and feud was just perfect.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I was also a very big fan. That promo was great, and I don't remember if this was the same promo. I just, you have a much better retention of like these
Stuff
things.
that happened, yeah.
Like I kind of need to see it back.
I get you.
To put, unless it happened before 2004, it doesn't stick like it used to. The promo that MJF did, the babyface promo that nobody really expected from MJF when he's and he's talking about how he waited in line and this and that, and Punk's reply to it was, I forget the line verbatim, but MJF was, he's talking about it. He was like, it was a Friday night and this and that, and I was going to see CM Punk, and Punk replies with it, for me, it was just Friday. Like, I get it. It's almost like a love letter to the hardcore fans or to the older fans, and like I appreciate that stuff. Speaking of hardcore fans and things that they appreciate, my number 3 is not gonna be one of them. So my number 3 favorite match of the year, and this was not because I felt I had to put a WWE match on the list. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed this so much more than I even wanted to. And you're both going to get mad as soon as I say it. I can already see Tom spinning his wheels trying to figure out what's happening here. So first off, I'm going to say it happened in Saudi Arabia. So we're already into blood money. And Roman Reigns, Logan Paul, Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. I don't like Roman Reigns, but anyway, the Logan Paul match was awesome.
It's from what I've seen of his wrestling, he's talented. I'm not going to deny that, but it is just where this is the one time where, like, obviously I don't mind choreographed looking matches. I'm a fucking New Japan freak. Like, of course I don't mind that.
I was going to say, buddy.
I would say the difference with Logan is, like, he's only doing the most basic of stuff. Like, so, if that makes sense.
So it makes perfect sense. And I was going to say the thing with Logan is that he learned the basics, which is, I think a lot of people kind of fucking skip these days. As soon as they can bump without being paralyzed, they're like, just shoot for the moon. Logan Paul learned the basics. He learned to bump. He learned to sell. He learned to work. Whereas a lot of younger guys, boring.
Like, that's,
dude, that match. I haven't many matches that
I've only seen like 5 minutes.
And you could have put, like, anybody could have done that. This is in no defense of Logan Paul. He's just the guy I keep wanting to say Jake Paul.
I think a good amount of people are on your side more than mine. Because there's a lot of people who wanted Logan Paul to actually win the WWE title from Roman Reigns that night.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about. No, I don't want him to win the title. I think he's a YouTube
No, I'm not saying
fucking
you
goon.
are, but what I'm saying though is I think more people would be on your side than my side. I think more people are going to look at you more open-minded about it, and me being too.
What irritates me is the people that like will agree with that are probably just like they just like Logan Paul. Like, I don't give a fuck about Logan Paul.
I would say it's more.
I like that he was, like you said, man, he learned the basics. He learned the things that I want to see wrestlers do. I didn't even know I wanted to see him do this until I saw him do it, and I was like, how the fuck can he do that?
I agree. Like, I don't want to like him.
No, I want, his face is so, I hate his face more than I hate Adam Page's face.
Understandable.
I hate Adam Page's face a lot.
Understandable.
And like I said, dude, you could put anybody in that position. It didn't have to be him. It just was him.
But what gets me from complimenting him though is that you only can put him with the very best people to lead a match, because I think if you get anybody else, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, but that could be said about anybody that's
no. I think more guys. I think more guys could hang on their own and like take part in being able to do the match more than what he can do at the moment. So like I think in 2 to 3 years he will be at.
Well, I was just gonna say give it a few years and then
I think he'll be better than Ronda is.
Well, Ronda doesn't want to be there. Like I think genuinely fucking hates all of this.
But it's like it's a stat. Like not to go too far away.
The fragilest ego on the planet.
Ronda really needs the money.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't need the money.
I think she
needs something to do.
Yeah,
But it's astounding. Like not to go too far off of this, but like it's astounding how she had so much promise in the beginning, and she's just awful every time. Like let me. Stop.
I feel like
I'm gonna
she's
get upset.
awful because she wants to be awful. Though.
How y'all feel about Hangman is how I feel about Ronda Rousey.
Good, fucking say it.
Like,
why are we filming this if you're not gonna say the wild shit that crops up in your skull?
Because I don't like getting so worked up over wrestling, but it's just like what it is.
What are we doing here?
Well, when we first talked about this show, we said we were going to be more positive.
I just said a nice thing about Logan Paul. Right now, I'm the most positive motherfucker in the room.
But no, it's just with Ronda. It's just like it's why I hesitate to compliment Logan.
It was good because of the fact that he looked like he wrestled the better
way
than
you
most
like.
fucking wrestlers do. And Roman Reigns, when given a good opponent, is a good wrestler. It's just I can't like Bill Goldberg fucking I can't watch him, Lashley, Goldberg, and McIntyre all do the same shit, just big men slapping meat. Like I don't like it.
And the Roman stuff has been going on for a really long time.
2 years now. Moving on, spot 2 on your list.
So spot 2 on my list is my most recent entry, and that's going to be Briscoe's FTR 3, the double dog collar match, which, funny enough, the two dog collar matches of the year are in my top 3, right back to back on my list. I think all 3 Briscoe's FTR matches have things that make them number 1. We talked about this, outside of recording about what makes the trilogy so special. I think why I have to go with this one is because this is a perfect final match for a trilogy.
Fuck yeah.
Because and even just the way that it's booked, if I have to pick the one type of match that Briscoe's beats FTR in, dog collar makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because it's what FTR are more technically sound than the Briscoes. So how does the Briscoes beat them? You make it a war. You make it violent. You make it to where, you throw FTR off their game in such a crazy match. Cash Wheeler had my favorite bump of the entire year where he killed Mark Briscoe.
You talking the chain?
Pulling the chain onto the chain.
Yeah.
Killed.
That was sick.
That might be the only spot this year where I was ever like, they should stop the match. Like, it was.
Really?
For some reason, that one got me. I don't know if it's because, 1, Mark looks like a 70-year-old man. And then 2, the way he landed on those chairs, I was just
Dude, it was ugly.
Yeah, it looked like Cash meant to flip him and pull him with only some force, and Mark's like, nah, I really want to sell
There was
it.
a lot in that match that was very snug.
Yeah.
Like you could, I think there was at one point you even saw, I think it was Cash say something to Mark, like, fucking hit me.
Yeah.
Like I think they were on the apron and they were, trading punches, and Cash was just like, yo, lay it the fuck in. Cause there were some close-ups on Dax throwing punches, and there was no air in what he was doing. I love that match. That brings me to my number 2, which is the FTR Briscoes, but the second match.
Ooh, 2 out of 3 falls.
I loved all 3 of them, but the 2 out of 3 falls for me was it was the perfect showcase for. I'm a very big FTR fan. It was a perfect showcase for them because it was a much more technical. It was a much more dramatic. It was longer.
Yes.
Giving the Briscoes the first fall now gives you 2 falls for FTR to take, and they just took so long getting there, and the drama at the finish, it was so great.
I think it has the best finish out of all 3.
Yeah, dude, it's like, trust me, it's hard to pick.
Oh no,
those
yeah.
3
but
matches.
it was like I told you before. I think it's a trilogy where anybody could pick any match as their favorite of the 3, and you're not gonna argue it.
No, those were fantastic.
Because
matches.
I still can vividly remember Dax giving Jay that top rope pile driver, and I loved how.
Dude, I hated that so much.
Well, like, did you hate it like because it was scary to watch?
Yeah, I hate it because I don't want them to die.
Okay, I thought you meant you just didn't.
No. Pile driver off the top rope all day long would get a pop from me.
Well, because also too, Dax did something I'd never seen before in wrestling, where he showed he was so exhausted by covering
falling
it
on his face
and just using his knees to cover him. Like,
I like that.
It just looked like he turned to the ref and was just like, "This is the best you're gonna get, buddy. Count it." Like
real quick, going back to the third match, really have to fucking give props to the referee, dude. That was like,
they need to when there becomes
God damn, dude, what a color job.
There already is a Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Needs to be the next inductee.
That was
because, dear God, he died. It was like the
dude. They definitely had to give him some sort of blood. Like he was. Yes. That was a fucking. That was like the fucking mass transit incident. But I think it's that time we get to the number 1 spot on your list. I have already mentioned my number 1 was the Punk dog collar match with MJF.
Yeah. So my number 1 is Hangman versus Danielson 2. I was there in the Prudential Center. I agreed with everything you said about the first match, but the second match, especially when you were there live, it really felt like these 2 guys were trying to kill each other. Like, there was a moment where Hangman had like a spiked German on Danielson. I remember my whole section is like grabbing each other like moms watching their sons play football. Like, oh, our son.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was so good. And even just after the match, like, one of my favorite things about Hangman is when Hangman wants to, like, trash talk and be petty. I love the way he does it. Because after he beat Danielson, this was when Danielson was a heel, right? And Danielson kept doing jumping jacks during matches to, like, be, like, just show how much better condition he has. When Hangman beat him and Danielson's, like, a bloody mess, like, barely able to move, before Hangman leaves, he turns back around, flips him off, and starts doing jumping jacks. And I'm like, greatest shit-talking moment I've seen of the year. And it was just so good. It was such back and forth. And especially Danielson as a heel is better than him as a face. Like, just him...
Yeah, dude, heel Danielson is...
so much.
I don't even know why they let him be anything but.
There was a moment in the match where Danielson grabs Hangman, because they had judges for the match in case it goes overtime, brought him to the judges, elbowed him, pointed at Paul White, and is like, gotta score this one for me. And it's like, I can't. It was just too good, especially being there live.
Dude, Danielson's like the perfect professional wrestler.
I agree. I think it's like, I don't know how you get better than him. Like, it's just... He can make the match technical. He can work with any style. Like, he can be a heel, he can be a face. His music is a banger. Like, I don't know. Like,
he's great.
well, thank you, everyone. This was another fun episode. We hope you all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. We're going to try and make 2023 a big year for wrestling content for Nerdthusiast. I hope you guys enjoy the work we've done so far. Sean, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add, as much as we like making the content for you, it does take us a little bit of time, and the biggest thank you that you could give us is if you subscribe to the Nerdthusiast YouTube channel. It means the world to us, and we hope to see you all next year.